Cool. Let's get going. Okay, first let's go over some of the sourcing stuff, some new stuff, especially during Q4. Q4 is going to be super heavy in the toy section. Is going to be big this year. Same thing each year. Toys, video games. Both of these are good for retail arbitrage, especially with Amazon. If you guys haven't done Amazon yet, I would highly suggest it. Even if you're just doing eBay and you're selling electronics on eBay, we talked about this last week, but there's a few new people on this week. So what you can do with eBay stuff is you're going out picking at garage sales and thrift stores. You can take those used electronics and then look at the cost on Amazon. Amazon's almost always going to be more expensive just because there's not as much volume on there in terms of sellers, not as much supply, and a lot more demand on Amazon, even in the used category. Electronics, there's a bunch of BOLO groups. BOLO groups are useful, but they will get tapped out quickly. With this one, especially during Q4, don't hold on to the product, take it and burn through it. If you look at the margins, we'll kind of go over margins in general, but there's a good one we actually bring up. One of my buddies, he talked about on his Instagram, and if you look at the margin just on burning through a product compared to holding product, it's definitely interesting video. Check if you guys don't check him out. Video game sourcing, Jack, one of my buddies, he's pretty good, and he has some good knowledge that he drops sometimes. Let me find it. I can write it down. But basically, it states 20% turned over and over is going to make more money than 100% once a year or every few months or even every 6 months. The math becomes pretty interesting on that. That goes across the whole board, and we talk about it almost all the time. A lot of things that people are selling are commodities. Those commodities need to be burned through. Where is this, guys? Break-even point ROI. No. Also, a lot of people, the numbers are getting really important as well. If you can start tracking, we are launching something pretty soon. The accounting software is almost done on our end. So hopefully get you guys some good numbers going up. But accounting is one of these most important things, especially if you're not garage selling, thrifting, anything along those lines. Accounting and knowing your numbers is deadly important. This knows you if you're going on the right track, right? So I was watching a video from one guy a few days ago, and like his margin after people, I know I did it as well. When you're going out garage selling or thrifting, especially thrift stores, garage sales have huge margins, so you can usually get some good. Here we go. You can usually get some good margin on it, so don't worry too much about margin stuff on non-thrifted item, but thrifted items, it gets pretty hard. So the numbers come out like this in sourcing and also selling. So the fast flip is 20%, and then turning over every month at 20%. The numbers come out pretty good. So after 6 months, your money becomes about $3,000. That's if you starting with $1,000 investment. So after 6 months, comes to be 3,000. 1 year, you're about 9K. 1 year, you're at 9K. And then 2 years, you are at 80,000 in profit. 3 years, you are at 704K in profit. That's just turning it over. You have no supply issue. It's just all demand, and it's turning 20% over month over month. The medium hold is super interesting. So the medium hold is 40% ROI, turning every 3 months. And this number is going to be after 6 months. It comes to be about 2K. 1 year comes to be about 3.8K. It's 3.8K. After 2 years, it becomes about 15K. And after 3 years, it becomes about 56K. And then let's go the long tail 100% ROI. So you're doubling your money, but you're holding on for a while. This is every 6 months, turnover. It means you're selling one product every 6 months. That gives 100% return on investment. 6 months, it is about 2K. After 1 year, it's 4K. After 2 years, it is 16K. After 3 years, it is 64K. And then the long-term, like high ROI hold, long-term high ROI hold. After 1 year, it is 4K. 2 years, it is 14.7K. And then after 3 years, it is 57K. So this is super important, just in terms of reselling in general, right? So the common misconception, and you see it a lot of like influencers that are like in that 100 to 200K a year range. You see that they're trying to, oh, I want to hold product. I want to hold product. That's completely false. So it's really good, and it's understanding the numbers is the most important part of the game. If you guys don't know your numbers, it's super, super helpful, and your turnover too. So as you can see, like the fast flip. So this is what like my Amazon company does. We flip we go through stock, right? So we sell X amounts. We buy each month's supply, maybe 45 days out in advance. So I just picked up a new supply. Let's say it's 500 products. I don't care if it's 20%. My minimum was 20% return on investment, and I want to flip that over and over and over. So personally, right? So my minimum ROI was 20%, and that's like after all fees, after all costs, right? But I would shoot for 35% ROI, but often my actual ROI was 80%, right? And I had I think it was like 46-day turnover. So you can see like even at the minimum ROI, and I would just burn through product, right? If your product's sitting, don't hold on to it. Again, common misconception, don't hold on to it, burn through it. If you guys can make money on it, the issue we see often is that the numbers aren't really known. So like even if you're trying to, even if like I hear this kind of often, people come on, they're like, hey, like I'm not making a lot of money on this, right? It's about turning over and reinvesting. Even if you have a lot of like the products that people are buying are garage sale, thrift, garage sale and thrift, the dollar amount is so small. $5 and you're making $30-$40, right? Or even sometimes $200 on a good flip, $500 on a great flip. That you have such minimum dollar amount in, it's just better to turn your money over and then try to double up, right? If you can double your money, if you can turn $5 into $10 each time, and you can do it fast each month, your turnover is quick. That does two things. One, you get your money out faster. Get your money out faster, which is super important. And then you have less like storage space. So like I was in the same game that most people are when I was in eBay side. I switched when I saw the numbers when I was on Amazon, and just about turning over product. So I was in like this long tail. I was in this long tail game, probably like this. I would just stack up product. Sure, some of them it would flip faster, but on average it'd be a long hold. But what happens is your storage becomes massive. So I went from a spare bedroom to like a outdoor inventory warehouse. I built it in my parents' backyard, and then I got my own warehouse that was like I think it's 1,700 square feet, and then I got a 6K square feet one, right? And just so this is all eBay stuff, right? So this is all eBay items. I was still making money. I was happy about it. But you see, this long hold would keep creeping up, and each time the cost would go up, right? So spare bedroom and outdoor warehouse, both of these, I was lucky enough that I was like my parents would let me do it. I was actually using our friend's house at a friend's house. So I was paying rent there, but the rent was cheap, and we used a spare bedroom. This I got for free, but then it started adding up, right? So this came to be about $1,300. Arizona is pretty cheap a month. And this one came to be about around $4,000 after all costs, right? This is probably actually more like 15 with expenses. So each month you start losing margin if you start holding on to items, and you have to increase in space. So if you look at these these are long-term leases. They're 12, 13. I think mine was 13 month lease. So it means you're stuck in this lease for a while. You want to be quick and agile, especially when it comes to money. So this is super, super helpful. I wish I knew this beforehand. Instead of going to this 4,000 square foot, I wish I would have just stayed at this and been able to turn my money over faster. This would have got more money in, more money out. And eBay product, especially used inventory, it's not very liquid. So you can't sell it to another reseller that easily. Or if you do, you're gonna get at cost, below cost. I lost 40, 50K, let's say even 50, 60K on product when I switched from eBay to Amazon. So I lost a lot of money here. Obviously, my eBay and Amazon maybe a hell of a lot more money, but like this is a 50K loss that if I would have just like turned my product over faster, I would be more happy. So what I would do if I would do this again, I would do 1 month full price but low, full price but on the cheaper spectrum. And then I would do second month I would decrease by 25%. Third month I would decrease by 50%, and then I would auction. And then if I would eBay auction with shipping. If no buyer, I would do a local auction. Local auction, you're gonna get pennies on the dollar. eBay auction, you're gonna get, if it's a good product, you'll get 80 to 70% of the bottom of the dollar, but usually not really. That doesn't happen, especially if you're doing clothing. Shoes does pretty well, but clothing there's so much inventory out there. It's hard to do. Did anybody have a question? Because I'm just going on tangent. If not, hopefully this is helpful. Again, this is what I wish I would have known beforehand, and if I would start again in eBay, this is exactly what I would do. Also, there are some cool things that you can do to kind of speed this up. This 1 month full price, we are launching this hopefully within the next 60 days. Some cool stuff. So it'd be sell as, I would delist, and then I would sell as, and then reprice. Or no, first I would delist, reprice, and then sell as. And this should decrease, and I would decrease it by this certain percentage amount, so you can be on top of listing and turn over and over and over again. Yeah, but this is just how like the big guys, like if you're looking at the people that are doing 30, 40 million a month, they're turning over at a small margin. They want to be the one that sells the most and gets their money in and out. Sure, even if you have look at your return rate too. So return rate's pretty important. So with electronics, it's definitely be higher. Clothing is gonna be a little higher as well. But if you're doing like kitchenware or like non-electronics, non-clothing, the return rate's gonna be pretty low. My non-electronics was like, I think a 2% return rate. And then this 2% return rate, you want to margin this into your cost, right? So you want to do your total month return rate and then to take that off of your actual of your margin, right? So 2%, you take that off the ROI, so it'd actually be 18%. So you're trying to shoot for about 22%. You want to hit that 20% range. Again, it's just turning over, hit scale. You want to hit scale instead of being like the big thing with like small businesses, SMBs, are like not hitting scale or automation. You start really it becomes a like the business becomes a job, right? So business equals job. This is kind of not what you want to look for, right? Just like really like getting into the more like scalable stuff, or even just you can scale up mostly anything. It just depends on how you want to set it up. But the business equals a job thing becomes pretty tough. It is great if that's what you're looking for. But this gets hard to do, especially at the resale level. Reselling, you're probably if it's a business is a job, saying like I'm in the business, I'm working in the business, I'm not working on the business mentality. You're gonna get capped out at 100K to 350 if you're really pushing it, right? 350, that means you're automating the majority of it. You're gonna get capped out of this, right? This is like the revenue a year. Anything less, it gets pretty hard to scale. So you want to be working on, if you're working on the business, you can hit about 2 to 10 million. That's kind of like the average in terms of like the top end average if you're working on the business. So it does scale a lot better, but a lot of people are happy with this. So if you're happy with making your business a job, you just don't want to have the 95 grind, this is a great way to do it. You just got to think about working. The big thing is like taking a step back and working on the business, in the business. Cool. So that's kind of like the reselling side. Now let's start jumping into the sourcing side. If anyone has questions, it's a great time to ask them about this because we will move on to the next side. Cool. I would love to get my entire business automated. 100%, man. Like this is the key. The one kicker is at first, right? Whenever you bring in automation in, it's going to be some sort of dollar amount, right? That's going to be staff. staff, or software. You want to, this is kind of the processes that kind of help me out with automating. First, you want to, how's this put? First, you want to use software or some sort of automation device, right? So software, you want to use software first, then you want to outsource, and then you want to hire, and then you'll do it yourself. Do it yourself because your time as a business owner is the most valuable. You'll see a different business, but it's 100%, right? So I wrote a Medium article. If you guys want to, it's on my Facebook. I probably can grab it. I wrote a Medium article kind of about how this happens. Like you'll see a dip in your business, but there's more room to grow. But this is how I scale, right? How I scale. Use this mentality is first you want to do software, then you want to outsource, then you want to hire, and then you want to do it yourself. Anything that's menial tasks like bookkeeping, right? You want to use software to do bookkeeping, and then maybe a bookkeeper that's outsourced, again, cheaper labor. And then you want to hire. Hire is your next class. This is gonna be for some harder tasks. And look at these like in skill level too. This is the most basic stuff. Unless it's damn good software. Basic stuff, the next level up. Hire is gonna be the harder stuff like fulfillment. You can even outsource fulfillment as well. You can definitely outsource. eBay would be fine. Amazon, you want more control because it's kind of more strict. And then do it yourself is last. The last step is like the hardest part you want to do, and it makes it a lot easier. Like what Hunter said, you'll see a dip in your business. You have more room to grow is 100% correct. You'll see like how I put it is again in my Medium article. I'll link it out. I'll send it out after this, possibly. It's like you'll see a flow come in, right? So this happens every time you want to grow a business, right? So you're going to get tapped out at a certain level. So it becomes like I guess it's like a little like teeter totter, I guess, up and down. So like this is like your max output at a solo entrepreneur. It's like solo entrepreneur, this is your max output. This is when you're making the most dang money possible. For me, this was eBay going into a estate business, right? So I was doing majority stuff myself. Maybe I had some staff. Before eBay, I had them all myself. But this is when I was making the most cash, right? I was just cash flow positive. I had no overhead. I was living at my parents' house, using their backyard as a warehouse. This is when I was making the most cash at this level. And then you start going down, right? This is when you start hiring. You start hiring people to do your tasks that you don't want to do. This does increase your costs. So you're hiring. But then this levels you out to be able to do the next step, right? So for me, this was eBay to Amazon or some sort of scalable device. So a lot of people that do eBay at scale, or Poshmark at scale, whatever that may be. So let's just go this. So we had staff, we had a bunch of VAs in the back end doing all the sourcing side. We had a four-person staff, not including me, packing, shipping, managing VAs, right? So this like this is going from this to this was pretty cash intensive, right? We were running on slim to nothing because we just reinvest. But once you hit this hump, right? Once you get on top of this, where it's scaled out to that certain point, eBay to Amazon probably caps at about 2 million. It caps out before it's like a pretty hard cap. So eBay hits about that 2 million and then it caps out, but you can just cash flow this. My main business, what's actually giving me money right now is my eBay to Amazon because I automated everything on the back end. It cost me probably 3 to 4 hours a month to do it, and it still funds me cash. So this is what happens. And then if I want to go like Hammock, this is the next thing going down, right? So Hammock, it takes a lot of staff, it takes a lot of cash to go down, right? But if you look at like the next step, so there's too many moving parts in this section. So we're not really building a product. It's a zero-sum game. So when this happens, it's very hard to scale, right? There's just so many moving parts. We had our catalog of inventory was about 1,500 different SKUs, right? It doesn't seem a lot if you have eBay, right? And look at like the SKU amount. So my eBay store was about 2K SKUs. This is my eBay, and like my eBay store when I was doing eBay and the state sale stuff, it was about 2K SKUs, all single. Very hard to scale, right? Unless you focus on this, it's gonna be very hard to scale. This next level going up is like we had about 1,500 SKUs. A little more scalability, lot more cash though. But then next thing you want to get down, this is why we build out Hammock, and reason why, even though this is great cash flow, is the reason why I don't do it full time anymore. Is we have one product, right? We have one product, or a software or a team around this that does one specific task. This then, if you can automate this, it can scale a lot higher, right? This is just across the board. It scales a lot higher, and there's obviously need in the market. When you do, this is also, these are both also zero sum games, zero sum. You can't sell this for anything, right? You can sell the inventory. The inventory does have a value. The value is based on what somebody's going to pay for it, but it's hard to scale. And you can't exit for a lot of money. Like the next step, I would say this is level 1, this is level 2, this is level 3. I would do it in these relatively orders. Even if you want to do like eBay, I would say thrift, garage sale method to do this. Scaling out liquidation would be this side. You see, we have a guy, that one of our clients, that does big numbers doing like scaled out liquidation. He does wholesale, and he does liquidated inventory. So they have a big operation, but no one can scale through so much. And then you last, it goes levels and hard too. Last would be, you want to just do one thing. So it makes it easy to work on it like that. I love the read article. Definitely, I'll send it out to everybody with the article. It's what helped me, and hopefully helps everybody else. Okay, let's get on to sourcing side. Sourcing, I love sourcing. This is where you make your money, and this is as you want to do it yourself for a while, so you can hire it out. Right now, you want to start looking into BOLO groups, retail arbitrage. Retail arbitrage is fantastic right now. Online arbitrage. These are the 3 things I'd be looking into if I didn't know how to do. I would say don't use marketplace arbitrage after you can do it, right? It works. This is one of my highest numbers. But January is actually my highest number. Marketplace arb works great after Christmas. One, because there's a lot more supply coming on, so you can eat up a lot more supply. And with this stuff, you just got to be able to buy heavy, right? So there are some BOLO groups. BOLO groups are super helpful. These are going to get tanked out. A lot of these things are going to get tanked out. So you want to just turn and burn. You don't care if it's 20% ROI. Like, you want to be the lowest one, and you want to get the sale. Don't worry about anything else. Buy them quick, sell them quick. I know right now everybody's using like MFN, so merchant fulfilled. FBA takes a little bit longer to get in, so merchant fulfilled right now works really well with these 3 groups. There's a bunch of like OA, RA, and like BOLO groups that you can always join. Super helpful. This should be able to generate, especially in Q4. If you have a little bit of skill with it, you can definitely generate 30K in 3 months. If not, definitely you can do higher, right? I have one of my buddies, he's doing a lot. What platforms do you find your BOLO groups? I don't personally do any BOLO groups, but I know a lot of people that do. A lot of them are based in Discord. Is a lot of them. A lot of them are also in Instagram. I'm not sure about Facebook, but Instagram and Discord are the 2 ones that you find the most in. Again, I have no expertise in BOLO groups, just based on the people that I've taught in the marketplace arbitrage. There's one guy that does like BOLO groups, and he does RA, and he's pulling about a few million a year, just doing those. Also, you see with like people are building out bots to snipe at scale. You see it with the PS5. These kids like 19 to 22 were just making so much cash, sniping a bunch of like OA deals. OA starting to get harder and harder and harder. You see that with Target and these guys. OA, like Target's the hardest. They're starting to block resellers. You see that even in store. So watch out on that. Again, you just want to turn and burn, especially in this Q4 time. If you are going to do marketplace arbitrage, I would say right now, used video games have the least amount of risk and a good reward profile on it as well. Buy used video games, you can buy them in bulk, buy them /lots, and then resell them on Amazon, or even turn them on. If you're looking to do eBay, the best way to do it is we are working with a auction house, which we will be giving you guys a good supply of new deals with that as well. But I'll be checking out auction sites. For me in Arizona, there's like Auction Nation. There is Quick Lots. Is new section is called UBid. This is the guys that we're working with. UBid. You bid, you win. You bid, you win. I know it's not quick lots. Like those are great auction sites. Also, auction zip is great to get inventory. What you want to do with this is run a VA down it, right? Run something that can run all the comps. You want them to find product and then look up eBay price. Look up eBay price. Take out all the fees on the eBay price as well. So it makes it super easy to then grab. And then I would just have them start bidding on those things at the end. Have your max. Again, I would do 35% would be my max for eBay or my minimum for eBay. And I would want stuff that turns over fast. If you guys don't know how to do the turnover fast thing, you want to look at solds. What is it? I think it's actives divided by solds. And then that will be sold to be based on this would be 3 months. So if there's more solds than they are active, you know it's a fast moving product. If there's less solds, it's a slower moving product, but you can see how fast they move as well. What else? Yeah, so that's super helpful. So you want to see kind of like, so in Amazon terms, this is called velocity, right? Velocity of the sale. And you want to see the margin of the sale. So for me, like you are in this eBay game, you are a opportunist, right? So you like so you are an opportunist and dang, I took those two things down. But you in these both Amazon game and eBay game, you're an opportunist. Except if you're doing private label, then you have to build a brand, but you're an opportunist. So basically you're looking at how much cash you have, right? Like if I have cash, let's make it an easy number. Let's say I have 10K cash I want to spend. And that you have unlimited possibilities, which is not going to happen. You want to see what has the highest ROI and fastest turnover. Turnover, right? This should help. So it says like, okay, I want to find the fastest ROI and the fastest turnover. I would take less ROI and faster turnover for sure. Again, look at the numbers that we talked about beforehand. That a couple more people joined. A couple people joined, so we'll go over it. The fast flip, the margins become a lot better. So the fast flip, turning every month at 20%, you make a lot more money. 6 months, you're making 3 grand. 1 year, making 9K. 2 years. This is starting with 1K too. This is starting with okay. Starting with 1K, the fast flip would make at 20% our return on investment. Turning over every month, 6 months to make 3K, 9K this year, 2K and 80K in 2 years, and then 708K in 3 years. This is turning it over. You have no inventory problem either. Cool. Let me actually, I gotta push something out real fast. Wait 1 second. Something came on. Okay, cool. Sweet. So yeah, you want to look at the velocity of it plus the ROI. So how fast it's turning over plus the return on investment. So like if you're doing like high end stuff, this is why like in the eBay game, I look for very high end. And this is like the one off. This is like you're going thrifting, garage selling. I look for very high end products, so high ROI, right? Because I'm buying at a discount or I'm getting at a consignment rate, so I have a higher ROI or just high like time or time per dollar, right? So like the lot I picked up for that, I picked up about 350K of used high end electronics. I'll pull out six figures off it, but it took me to list and photo using our team took me about like 4 hours total. And then to do the shipping and fulfillment probably take me an hour, probably like 3 to 4 hours. Probably have about, let's say 20 hours in it all at 20 hours total. And if I can pull out, let's say make an easy number, 100K, the return on investment is pretty high in terms of hour base too. Look at that as well when you're going into this stuff. That's why the clothing, you need to scale it out. You need to have somebody in there to do your photos. You don't want to do photos yourself. You need to have a team on the back end to do all listing side, and then you're just gonna be able to. You want to have a supply as well on like for clothing, especially all liquidated items. You need to have a constant supply coming in. Cool. Un momento, por favor. Okay, cool. That's how Sid took over something. Cool. So if you're looking at the one-off game, this is probably the best way to do it. This is how I would scale it, right? This is how I did scale it. Or you want to have constant supply on the front end. And you want to be able to map out each section. So you want to have constant supply on the front end. Again, to do the constant supply, even on this auction zip and stuff, I would have like a team of VAs run comps, and be the front end of it, right? Be the front end of it. And then you want to be able to have somebody take photos, list, ship, and that'd be it, right? So this is the full setup that you would want to do. If you're running this online eBay arbitrage auction zip, I know a guy that he pulled out a lot of money. He's pulling out like about 100K a month on eBay, running through auction zip and just basing off comps. So he made a lot of money. Minimum ROI was 35%. Some of these kind of hard ones, you want to look for the high end dollar amount, especially if you have cash, you're just sitting on cash. You want to look for big dollar amount you can just turn over, right? Because you can beat people by having as much cash as possible. So what I'd be looking at, again, if I would do this again, I'd probably start in like watches or high-end audio equipment like we did before. I'd find the stuff on auction houses, buy it, make 50% return on investment on 10K. It starts adding up really quickly. I know watches are really good, especially in this Q4 time. You can take a lot of risk at Q4, and you can make a lot of money because there's a lot of money going into the system. So this is what I would do during that Q4 time is you look for big hits. If you're going to do, I know I talked to Hunter about this before. If you're going to do like if like I love garage sales, I love all that kind of stuff. I would be looking at like high-end estates. If you want to say that local game, high-end estates are gonna be the best one. These are non-company ran are the best. Or if you can find like kind of like a sucker company that's not good, you can kind of flash them if you need to. You can eat a lot of margin out because you don't know what they're doing. That's super helpful as well. But I'll be looking at high-end estates, again, look at like the flow of product coming in and out. The reason why auctions work well is because there's a flow of product. The reason why you don't make as much money on auctions if you're buying off auctions is because there's like it's on market, right? So you can also look at different things. This is the reason why I use non-company ran. Look at on market and off market deals. On market deals, you're always going to make less money. Almost every time, unless they mess up on pricing, right? Off market deals, you're gonna make the most money. Unless they overprice for some reason, right? But normally people won't know the actual value of items, especially rare items. This is when you're going to make the most money possible. Again, that's why the non-company ran estate sales, if you guys are going after estate sale companies, works the best. Just because there's a lot more margin involved with that, and there's no middleman. Last but not least, let's go over a few things. When you're buying product, look where the product's coming from, right? You want to be the closest one to the person liquidating as possible. So if you're the closest one to liquidator, the closest one to liquidator wins. That means you're gonna have the most money. The closest one to liquidator, you're gonna win the most because you're gonna have the most money available, right? Each time you go down the chain, so let's say let's just do a state, right? So let's say a state. So there's a state that comes online, not online, but there's an estate that happens. If there's a middleman in between an estate sale company, they're going to try to make margin, right? So each time there's somebody in between, you as the end buyer or middleman, right? You're going to make less money. So then it's going to be you reseller, you online reseller, and you're going to make less money because they're taking margin out. They're going to take a margin out each time. The state needs to get paid, the state company needs to get paid, and you need to get paid to the end consumer. To end consumers. Each time there's somebody in between, you're going to lose cash, right? The one thing with this is going to be a little easier to do than if you're doing liquidation. So liquidation. Liquidation. Let's say this is Amazon B stock, right? Amazon B stock. A lot of the Amazon B stock is coming from Amazon B stock. It's like bstock.amazon.com. What happens right now is like wholesalers are buying it from Amazon. They're buying it at like 12 through, say 10 through 15% of retail cost. What they're then doing is then they're splitting it up, splitting up, selling to resellers, and the resellers are buying it, and then it goes to end consumer. If you really want to scale this out, you want to go straight to the Amazon B stock or wherever the B stock's coming from, Nordstrom's, whatever that may be. Problem about liquidation, you have a lot of money up front. Like the best ones are going to be FTLs or full truckloads. So you have to have a lot of space and a lot of money. Is like a good full FTL is going to cost you 20 to 35K. But you should net you're going to double your money, right? On those good like coffin, non-open, non-return products are just like dead stock, and they're good dead stock too. Make sure you check out beforehand. You should double your money in that 35 to 40K. So if I was doing liquidation, this is what I would do: is I would go straight to Amazon B stock. I would have somebody that could do all the work for me, as in like do all of the processing power. So you can hire processing, you can do a 3PL, you can do a bunch of different things like that. Has somebody do the processing, the photoing, the shipping for me. And then we'd obviously do the back end photoing. That means you take out this wholesaler. The wholesaler is going to try to double their money, right? Especially right now because there's a drought of supply. COVID really did some weird stuff. There's definitely a drought of supply. You can see it across the board. Things coming in from China, not as much things coming in from China, not as much spending power on the local like retail sector. So there's actually a lot of like it's a struggle to get good product right now. So these wholesalers are trying to double their money, if not making 50% margin. So if you take these guys out of the equation, you will make that 50% margin on top of what you're already making. So I know if you find a good pallet, you can buy it for like $2,000-3,000, whatever it may be, and you can turn it into 10, right? That's a great pallet, 10, 15K in total actual like revenue coming in. If you do that over and over and over again, think about if you take that 1K out, a little bit more cost up front. How you're beating this is you're buying straight from the source. Even if you can go to like resellers in general and try to get their liquidated B stock and just do it at a consignment base, that would work too. We were looking at that beforehand. Either one of those works. Every time you cut out a middleman, you make more cash. You might have to pony up a little more cash up front. Or in the state game, it's about connections. You just got to get better. You have to have better connections. You have to have better connections than anybody else. Cool. Hopefully this is helping. Again, I would look if you're trying to get like that online game, look at these Auction Zip, Auction Sites, Auction Nation, Quick Bids, You Bid You Win, all these like auction sites. They will have, as long as you know the numbers on top and you know the value of those items, you should be able to win a lot of the time, or at least make a healthy margin in it. Especially again, there's people that are doing it making 35 to 50% return on investment and making 100K a month. So it is doable on all factions of that. I'm trying to think of other sourcing methods right now. Those are the ones that I would go with. Yeah, those bolo groups, especially if you want to get into Amazon, the bolo groups are best for Amazon, but you can do from eBay, but they're best for Amazon for sure. People are doing well. What you can do is a lot of people like are trying to sell courses. Now, I wouldn't say sell courses, but they're trying to sell a course that they give you their products. Look how much the people are making on there. They're trying to give you their products. You can then just buy a bunch of those courses or those product leads, and then just be able to grab them. Again, just watch out. Don't get trapped buying product that's going to get deflated in cost very quickly. Even during Q4, you have a better opportunity, but just because there's a lot more value. There's a lot more money in the market, so you won't get caught too often. Okay, cool. That makes it easy. Sweet. Any questions we can go over? Anything you're going on we can go over just in general, your resale business? More than happy to take some questions because this is what I got for today. I can keep rambling on with some more sourcing material, or if you want to talk about any direction you guys want me to talk about, more than happy to talk about it today. Put it in the chat. Doesn't matter. This thing right here is worth like $6,000. Not bad. It's worth $5,000 now. The two of them. Like these like small things just like add up, and the dollar amount is super heavy. So you can really do well with them. Okay, there we go. 2 people in chat. Hunter, what platform do you find? There we talk about the bullet groups. Sending my first FBA today. Any advice doing books? Books are great. Make sure the books that are only thing with books. Make sure that you don't give it too high of a condition, right? So you don't want to say, oh, this item is like new when there's writing in it. People are gonna get mad and give you a bad review. So try to make sure. I usually do it like, let's say I think this book's in great condition. I would say it's in good condition, right? It's cool. Yeah, so condition for you, you enter, make sure the condition is on point. Books are a great way to enter an Amazon. Low cost. If you mess up, it costs you 10 cents, 20 cents, $5, $10, whatever it may be. Definitely great to get started. Look at, when you do books, look at garage sales and estate sales for books as well. Travis, hey, sorry I missed anything. Any specific products when using B stock or in general? That's gonna be based on your own preference. In terms of return rates, electronics are not the best, but in terms of volume, electronics are great. So if you're doing B stock, I would say shoes would be good, as long as there's anything anything non-private label, you'll do great at. Private label just is not good. You have to get if you can get it below cost of goods, so what it costs to manufacture, you can make money on it, but they're hard to move. They're kind of a pain in the butt. So I would say non-private label. Anything non-private label, you'll make great money. And then for B stock, Travis, make sure you run the comps beforehand. Don't just blatantly, because the problem with like buying from distributors or wholesalers is you're just buying a pallet. You don't know what's in the pallet. You want to actually know what's in the pallet and how much money you're gonna make. I would run somebody on the front end to try to you're like, oh, I like this pallet, or I like this B stock from Amazon. It's 6 pallets. I have the manifest. The reason why I like Amazon because it has the manifest. But I would say, okay, I would run a VA through this and then see my cost, right? So what I would do is I run a VA through and try to find the sold comps of that. Let's say at 6 pallets, there's 100. Make it easier. There's 100 units per pallet, so there's 600 units on average. You would do. I would take it down into your average, right? Average it out and be like, okay, every item in there is about $25. Sold price on eBay. eBay's price per dollar is, or cost per dollar is, that was weird. eBay's cost is 10%, right? It's going to take me an extra $2 to process through. I'm paying $5,000 for the lot. Let's make $6,000 for the lot. $1,000 per pellet. Per pellet that I'm buying it for $1,000. My margin after cost is going to be. I'm going to make 3x my money, right? Or whatever dollar amount that is. Make sure you know the numbers beforehand. What helped me really beat a lot of people? Sounds good. Yeah, Hunter, I'll text you this week. What helped me out really like doing auctions is knowing the value of the items inside the auction, right? Or if it's B stock or whatever, is like knowing the numbers. You can start really beating people out easily because you're actually sounds good. You're actually gonna be winning a lot of these products, right? So like I would comp out all products. This is going to be laborious. This is going to be very laborious, but this is going to help you actually make money and know you're making money. Like the one big thing is you see, even with like new resellers, they don't actually know like the comp price of an item, right? This happens with B stock as well. B stock and why wholesalers are a little more difficult. So if you comp out, like if you don't know the comp out price, this is when you really get stuck with bad product. and you lose money, right? There's really no reason why you should lose money as a reseller, especially if you have a phone with a comp and you can see the value of the items, how fast they're selling, all that kind of stuff. So there's really no reason to be a a bad product, especially if you only time, let me rephrase this. The only time I ever got stuck with bad products is because I bought the products, I ran them through it, and I found out like the company's going under. So it was electronic. So the company went under, and like I got stuck with about $15,000 worth of product, cost a good product. And that's the only reason why I got stuck with a bad product is because like the company went under, they stopped releasing like updates. The updates like the product wouldn't work right, got flagged and got kicked off. That product got kicked off of Amazon, right? Only time I ever got bad, only time I ever lost money was that, because you need to know the comp beforehand, and those products are moving so fast, like 750 products a month, great margin. I bought them. So as long as you know the product is a decent product, and let me try this out. So good product, like no issues with it. Good product, sells fast, good ROI. These are the three things you need to know. If you know these three things, you're gonna kick anybody in the B stocks butts easily, especially these wholesalers. A lot of people trying to throw down a lot of money are just wholesalers trying to buy up and then flip it to resellers and trying to make 50% of their money, right? It doesn't actually, because they're definitely they're not making enough money to comp out each individual product. They're gonna base it on the overall, and like they're just like, okay, this looks good. I'm gonna buy this. I have enough buyers. I'm gonna buy this at X amount. I'm gonna make X amount of money. There's no need to run through. But if you can run through the products, you can really win. I learned this when I was doing a government auction. So like government auctions or auctions in auctions in general, you have about a 2-day window before auction to look at items. What I would do, and no one else would do, there would be no one there the day before or 2 days before. I would go in and comp out each item and lot. And then I would have on a piece of paper, okay, lot 1 sells for 10K. Lot 2 sells for 5K. Lot 3 sells for 20K. And then I would say, okay, this lot 1 is getting bid up, and it starts slow down at about 2K, right? It looks like old product, no one wants it, but I personally know it's going to sell for 10K. Then I bid 2.1K, right? And I get the product because no one else wants it. And this is how I made money at government auctions. Same thing with lot 2, right? I would just do this each time. I'd have like 40 or 50 lots I like the best. I'd price out the lots, and then because you're bidding, you want to make sure. But the thing, like there's a lot that kind of the reason why people get stuck with this kind of stuff, or they make bad decisions, is there's a lot. Let's call it lot 5. It was all like 2008 MacBooks, right? And they're Apple, right? So people got like, they're foaming at the mouth, like they're like, oh, this is Apple, I'm gonna make a lot of money, blah blah blah. I comped this out. I comped out all MacBooks at, let's call it 10K to make it easy, right? But the pricing went up to 25K. So these people literally lost $15,000 bidding on garbage when they could have just done their math beforehand and actually made money. It didn't make any sense, but that's what people are. That's what people do. Pass because like manifested supply auctions. What are your thoughts? Be stock looks like could be more beneficial. Travis asks, I have used direct liquidation in the past because they manufacture their supply on some auctions. What are your thoughts on them? Direct liquidation, as long as they manufacture, you should be good. B stock looks like it could be more beneficial. Travis, both will work. I would say I would only do manifested lots. So a lot of these non retail companies aren't manifesting, but online, usually that direct liquidation or liquidation.com, the ones that are manifested are actually going to be Amazon lots. So then you have a middleman, right? You have a middleman in between. It's going to be like again, they're getting the lots from Amazon. Amazon does their own B stock. I would just go directly to Amazon B stock, right? That's what we're looking into, right? So let's say, so like again, manifest, as long as it's manifested and you can see the numbers on each one, go for it, right? It doesn't matter where you're getting the supply, as long as you make money on it, you can the money on it. It doesn't matter where you're getting it from, so it should be helpful. Let's see the question. There, no, yep, 100%. But you never know. There could be less. And then look at, like, for the direct liquidation, look at let's say direct liquidation, their products aren't getting bid up as much as Amazon's because whatever reason, right? Maybe there's less viewers on that for some reason. Maybe it's kind of like not a bigger company. So they could direct liquidation could actually sell lower than Amazon, bstock Amazon.com, just because there's not enough there's not as many bidders on that, right? So it's all going to depend. As long as it's manifested, you can then get your margin out. You can, as long as you know the margin on between, it doesn't matter where it comes from. As long as it's what you're looking for, right? Yeah, hopefully I answered your question. Cool. I think that's all on my side, guys. I got 7 minutes left. This is a great time to answer any questions. Again, whole goal is to move products as fast as you possibly can, process through product as fast as you guys can, and then make as much money as you guys possibly can. Yep, no problem, man. So all I gotta say is, don't be like the people that bought the 2008 MacBooks and bought it for 25,000 and lost 15K. Not a good idea. Yep, no problem, guys. No problemo. It sounds good. This will be the same link each time. So if I forget to send out the link again, it's gonna be the same link as this one. I have it each Tuesday at 9 a.m. Arizona time. I actually don't. I'll even have it that time too. So that's what we're trying to shoot for each week. Unless, like, for some reason I'm like busy for some whatever reason. Hopefully we're giving you guys some value on this. Again, I used to charge on my Amazon business a lot of money to do this kind of stuff. So hopefully you're using it free, using advice. Again, if you guys have any questions, you can always tag me in your WhatsApp group. We are launching a bunch of new pieces of the software, chat function in the software. No problem, Travis. We are launching a piece, the chat function in the software. I'll kind of give you the updates too. Chat function in the software, automatic delisting will be done within next. It's almost done. That should be done really fast. Probably next, like, maybe let's say 14 days. So if you guys are cross-listing with us, we will have automatic delist coming up in the near future. It's going to delist within 15 minutes. No one else has that. Accounting feature is coming out. We are done with the front end of that. So that should be coming out pretty soon. Basically, track your numbers. First, it's going to be eBay. Then we're going to go across all platforms after the first update. The native apps are coming out. Android's done. We just got to test it. Apple's almost done. We are launching some edit features in both of those platforms as well. Both of those whatever they're called, native apps. So they will be able to do the white background, edit functions, make a crop, all that kind of stuff you can do on your phone. So we are launching a lot of these new updates. We're bumping up a lot of our staff and running a lot of people through. So hopefully we can keep increasing the productivity on your guys' end in terms of getting us products so we can list them. I'm working day in and day out, try to get our listers the best as possible. That's kind of my main goal, is make sure there's no errors, make sure we get errors in general, and to keep increasing speed, so we can get you guys out. My goal in the next, let's say, 3 to 6 months is to do a 30-minute turnover, right? So we are hiring a lot of staff, US daytime, training them out. We want to be getting your products up and listed ASAP. The only issue we had before is the lockdown hits our team, and we can only doing daytime, India daytime staff, right? So we got permission from the government, so we should be ramping that up. Again, our game plan is to increase speed of listing, get you guys listings out, productivity listing, and a bunch of cool little features coming in that should help you guys maintain, sustain, and grow your business as fast as possible. So we are working day in and day out. If you guys have any comments, questions, concerns about anything, you can always reach me via WhatsApp, email. Email's a little bit slower. Tag me in WhatsApp group if you have to. Other than that, have a great rest of the week and keep on buying, keep on sourcing, and keep on making that money, everybody. Catch you guys later. Peace.